Hello guys, it's your boy Bartleweeps, and yeah, today I would like to review and give you my honest opinion and summary on the Jack vs Sukune fight. This will of course have Baki manga spoilers. Okay, so first what happened before the fight and generally how did we come to this? Well, before this we had the Baki Zumo arc. It was quite alright, but not really what I wanted from this arc. But the Baki Do 2018 manga got saved, and this is how it happened.
Beautiful.
Finally, in chapter 105 of Baki Do 2018, we got Jack Hanma's return to the story after taking a ton of L's. First thing we noticed, he is big as fuck. Like, bro goes always after he gets defeated more and more. He presses on the fucking upgrades button in his body. Upgrades, people. Upgrades.
Upgrades, people, upgrades. That's how we make the dough.
At this point, I don't know who got more modifications with his body, Jack or Doyle's ass, I don't know. Ah yeah, now we can also do a fun list of upgrades this man has. Numero uno, being at this point as big as an admiral from One Piece. Secondo, being iced out, you know, like look at those teeth. Three, having enough steroids in his system to kill a small town. Quattro, new clean Adidas, like look at those fresh shoes. Like this man changes from his Jordan 8s to Adidas. This man's clean with his style. Okay, now let's get back to the Jack arc. Jack first starts talking about how everything for him is in the past and that he has created in the time where he was absent a new fighting style called Guru that focuses on, well, fighting. At first you would say, yeah, not that well, but okay, Jack, why not, why not? But no. Don't make this mistake. This shit is brutal. Trust me. Well, he goes on to explain that fighting is mankind's ultimate weapon, being able to be used by children and women alike. Jack himself can see through his training blood vessels of animals and humans. We get to see after the Sukune and his girl that won't be that happy at the end of this arc, to be honest. Like, bro, she will be devastated. I'm very hyped to see her reaction on Sukune. Yeah. Well, Sukune is getting invited to fight at short notice in a day, but as much he could care, they could have fought in the streets like real big men. Next morning, Jack was so scared that he hanged himself. No, he felt very comfortable sleeping in this position, I guess.
Hello there.
Tokugawa, of course, was shocked because who sleep with those shoes on? Generally, who sleeps with socks? Plus that Dumpido. We get after this a bit of a view of how Jack trains and his mindset on drugs and their consume. He thinks that drugs are now an essential part of his diet that makes him stronger. Everyone who knows that drugs can make you stronger or better doesn't know what he does and is half-assing it. I couldn't really agree with him until he states that what he does isn't a sport, it is fighting, only fighting. I agree with him. You wouldn't call someone who takes a gun or knife to a life or death fight a cheater. It is only life. He fights for life and death and does everything to win. My opinion, that's quite alright. Like he's fighting for his life, man. And now, chapter 112. Jack meets Sukune for the first time and directly faces him, and Sukune, a man that is full on 212 centimeters tall, looks like a 5'4" kid standing beside a 6-foot kid on massive drug abuse. By the way, this man Jack is like 7'9" or 11. Like the sides are really weird. Or in centimeters, 284 centimeters. This man is on some different kind of shit. So Sukune proceeds to talk shit, and they start a small exchange of blows. At first, it seems that Sukune was stronger and had the upper hand on Jack in the small exchange until we saw the conclusion. He bit his fucking finger off and ate his shit. Like, bro ate his pinky. Disgusting, bro. But at least we know now a bit more of his Goudou style. How his Goudou style works. Like, bro, it's disgusting as shit. It's the same chapter we see the start of the best fight in Baki history. Chapter 114. The fight begins, and it was an insane fight. In my opinion, where the stakes really risen high. Since if you fight Jack, you're gonna have a big problem. Sukune must have known that he wouldn't go out of this fight without damage, and on the other hand, this fight gave us something many readers demanded for years. A really good Jack Hanma fight. The fight starts with Sukune talking how big Jack is and that there was never a Rikishiki as big as him. And Jack as always brings out his Black Air Force energy out, telling him he will give him a world-class texture in his mouth. Yeah, boys, this man insane. The fight begins, they rush at each other, and Jack the goat directly snacks one of his traps out. Like, bro. Jack goes down for the first time in the fight and rushes at Sukune. Sukune stops him with a head kick, but does he really stop him or feed him again? Sukune goes serious mode on God. He takes the strongest stance known to ancient sumo and gives Jack a nasty punch into his face and pimp slaps him. Both take off this their favorite position, and Sukune is even more screwed because Jack bit off his left trap and is proceeding to bite the other one out, making Sukune and Sumo fighter unable to pull Jack up. The traps are there so you can pull, like, that's the muscle that helps you the most. At this point I started more and more to realize every bite Jack gets on his enemy, it's weakening them by a high amount. We see this throughout the fight, even though we might think Sukune still looks all high and mighty, but we need to remember he's still a human. The loss of muscle, a limb, or a pinky that is pretty important for your grip, your hand, will affect Sukune's performance tremendously, as we see in the fight. I also have analytical stuff for you. If we talk about the fight being that people underestimate Jack's strength physically, but let's look at this a bit closer. As example, in the moment where Jack took Pickle's stance and put a combo on Sukune, he got a good amount of damage. But moments after, when Sukune stood back up, he ate the kick from Jack like nothing. Well, of course it speaks for Sukune's durability, but if you have ever been in a fight, you know that if you get hit multiple times to your body, or what happened here to your head, you will fucking crumble like a crouton. But Sukune is a sumo fighter who is prepared to take a hit. Doesn't mean he's prepared for a barrage of it, if you know what I mean. Let's just look at all his fights more closely. At the fight with the other sumo guy, couldn't care less for his name, he got one weak hit to his chin and got one-shotted the sumo guy. In his second fight with the sumo guy, he got him by more than one hit and Sukune to the ground, and did damage and brought him to his knees. We need to consider before that he had a fight against Yujiro, but he got back up after that pretty easily, more or less. And yeah, after Sukune got on his knee from the sumo fighter, he wanted to go fast back up and want to finish it fast. In his fight against Yujiro, he also got one hit to the face from Yuja, and he was prepared. Because this he still stood. Against Biscuit Oliver, one punch, and then Sukune finished him. I hope you see a pattern here, that being 1. Sukune simply isn't built for long fights. He's a sumo wrestler, that's what they do. 2. Sukune can easily still stand against one punch. 3. Sukune will go to the ground when hit with multiple hits from a strong enemy and get damage to his brain, since his brain, also yours, don't feel you're special, won't have enough reaction speed. Just try it out, on God. Take a friend of yours, and he can do whatever. Let's say he punches you on the arm, and then he does a full-on combo. Your body won't know how to react if you aren't trained enough in it, or just not prepared. I'm not prepared. I mean, you won't. If you won't block it, you will feel it and don't know what happens. If he punches you and kicks you at the same time, you won't know what to do or what happens to you right now. And I know some of you are really hard behind your computer, but I think you know reality. And now 4th, Sukune has insane fast adaptability to his enemies, as shown in his short fight against Baki and Olivia. Okay, now let's get back to the fight, and that's where it gets balls to the walls, but I think that some people misinterpret the fight and statements Sukune brings. Sukune says that there is no need to block, he gets weaker, he feels it, and that Jack is pulling a bluff. Personally, I don't think so. Of course, some statements may be true because the mangaka wrote it like that, but I just wanted to bring my opinion to the table. Sukune is getting a ton of hits and is losing a ton of blood and losing body parts. I'm just saying, he could be a little bit delusional and not feeling that much pain anymore. Also boys, I have just noticed that Sukune grabs Jack's ass cheeks very sus and then slams him straight into the ground. But that weak ass throw didn't do shit to Jack, and Jack kind of removed a part of his neck and was super off the club. That's the first time for a Baki fight. After Jack does a sweet action and himself betrays that everybody was Sukune gets carried away. Yeah. Then he starts to talk back to everybody and basically says, "You're weak." So he just wants the smoke. So he says everybody's just fodder to him, and that's the end of this fight. And yeah, and I am super excited for what comes next. Hope you enjoyed this video and left a sub and like. I loved this fight. I hope you also loved my analytics side, and goodbye.
I like 40 more. Walked in with 40,000. I'm up in all the stores. My bitch from Baltimore. And she love Dior. She throw 100 clips. When it rains it pours. Shorty like it's sexy. She like giving Baki. She like she driving Lexus. That bitch gon' smack the reverend. Spin your block like Tetris. Love one Texas. I can't fuck no fat bitch never. I'm young and